only just met. And I think you ought to know I'm a murderer.
I made my fortune 10 years ago in plastic cutlery. Now, I enjoy my days trying to create art with this mediocre rabble.
Ralph and I go back a long way, a very long way. I feel he appreciates the, how shall I say, special qualities that I have. I'm also very pleased that my son, Russell, has inherited my incredible dramatic talent.
My mum thinks I've got this great dramatic talent that I've inherited from her, but to be perfectly honest, I couldn't really care less about acting. I'd much rather be down the park playing football with the lads.
I'm unemployed at the moment, but that's okay. It gives me more time to learn my lines, and I do rather need a lot of time to learn them. I don't know why, but they just don't seem to stick.
I have little to do with acting and know nothing of Powdercake's tawdry little play. Business, that's my thing. I suppose I'm what some might call a big splash here in Finkleton Falls, and I'm going to achieve that by being nice to everyone.
I had this sign outside saying volunteers wanted. So I went in and, well, Ralph was only too happy to have me on board. I do my best for him. Getting the props, painting the scenery, writing the cue sheets. Oh, and helping the actors when they forget their lines, which is most of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now go to the Footlights Theatre in Finkleton Fold. It is 8 o'clock on a rainy Tuesday evening. Rehearsals for A Stab in the Dark are underway.
Oh, Roderick, I'm sorry. I never meant to do any of it. I swear. Roderick, this is whiskey. You're drunk. You scare me when you're drunk.
I'm sorry, Alice.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Alice, but you give me no choice.
Why, Roderick, what are you talking about?
It's a dark night, a dark night for dark deeds. You've had your chance. The pain you're going to feel now is for the pain you've caused me. Goodbye, Alice. Goodbye.
No!
I love you, Alice.
That was awful! Do it again, do it again.
The nights I cried myself to sleep over you. You were the only man I ever loved, and you broke my heart.
I let you down, didn't I? Russell du Maurier is my only son, and you still won't let me tell him. He's the only heir to my plastic cutlery empire. He'll have it all when I'm dead.
How many years was it you were in prison for armed robbery, Wally?
Look, I don't want to talk about that. It's all behind me now. I've got a new name and a new identity. Keep your voice down, someone might hear.
This theatre, like every other amateur drama venue in the country, is a shoddy, flea-ridden dump. The society's falling to bits. Come on, Ralph, sign this over to me. I've got plans. Big plans. This place would make an amazing bingo hall. A brand new, bright, shiny bingo hall. Oh, I can see it now.
No, thank you. I've made my money in plastic knives and forks. I'm not desperate by any stretch of the imagination. I've made my wealth and I can spend it as I see fit. Of course, my darling.
You do love me, don't you? I mean, really love me.
Of course.
More than anyone, ever, anyone.
More than the stars in the sky. You're the only one I've ever wanted.
Thank you. I think I'll be able to do that end scene now.
I'm sorry, Russell, if I upset you earlier on. It's just like I was telling Gloria, I did it for your own good, you know.
You're all heart, aren't you, Mr. Valentine? I had to have 6 whiskies to come across here and do this. 6. Wasn't easy, no?
Roderick, you're drunk. You scare me when you're drunk.
I'm sorry, Alice.
What do you mean?
Sorry, Alice, but you give me no choice.
What are you saying? What do you mean to do?
It's a dark night. Dark night for dark deeds.
No, Roderick. Give me one more chance, please. I promise I'll never hurt you again. Just give me one more chance.
It's too late. You've had your chance. The pain you're going to feel now is for the pain you've caused me. Goodbye, Alice. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave things now at this rather critical time. On that fateful evening with Valentine critically wounded, Gloria ran out into the cloakroom to call for an ambulance. Ronald made himself useful by tidying up the stage area, and Prudence and Russell slowly helped Ralph outside to wait for medical assistance. But all to no avail. Ralph Valentine, the director of the Footlights Theatre in Finkleton Fold, died on his way to the hospital. But who were the killers? The 2 murderers who had made an attempt on his life.
For those of you who are unaware, I'm Detective Inspector Angate of Scotland Yard. A long and successful history of solving crimes in the Finkleton Fold area. I've been summoned here tonight on short notice to solve a particularly violent crime that took place here this evening. The ambulance crew have confirmed that the stab wounds delivered to Mr. Valentine by Mr. Du Maurier as part of the play, although serious, was not in itself sufficient to count outright. Somebody else interfered with Mr. Valentine between the time he was stabbed here in the theatre and his arrival in the hospital, deceased. Suppose you played a number of key roles in your time.
Indeed I have. Thank you for taking an interest. Cordelia, Portia, Viola, some of my Shakespearean masterpieces. As for my Eliza in My Fair Lady, well, there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
So, tell me about old Meg.
One can't always have it wrong, Inspector. One has to realise that everybody deserves a fair chance, and that sometimes even the best, most talented of actors are called upon to play toothless old witches with only 5 lines.
Mr. Valentine has taken a very special, personal interest in your acting development, wasn't he? Were you two in some kind of relationship?
Of course not. Ralph and I had a strictly professional relationship. You see, I'm going to be a famous actor. I'm a star in the making. And although it might sound cruel, I'll make it without him. He was just a stepping stone.
Do you remember reading about the Wally brothers robbery?
More than you can imagine. It was me that sent you, Jed and Fred down. Now, from what I remember, there was a lot of money taken in that robbery. Money that was never recovered. We burned it.
I'm ashamed to admit that I used my knowledge of Ronald's past to blackmail him. I offered him money. Amongst other things, I suggested that he might switch around some props to cause an accident, but I had no idea he'd go on to kill Mr. Valentine. I underestimated the ruthlessness of a cold-blooded killer.
Would you like to explain this?
What? Where? How did you...
It's the money.
My officers retrieved it from the back seat of your postal van just now. After you retrieved it from under the stage floor right here. Would you like to tell us all about this container?
It's a suitcase. A suitcase full of money. It's the money that was stolen during the Wally Brothers robbery all those years ago.
Spare us the bad acting, Gloria.
Indeed. We've seen more than enough of that this evening. The acting profession is notorious for attracting charlatans, show-offs, and ne'er-do-wells. But the powder-keg players, I feel, have brought their craft to new depths of depravity. All of you have shown selfishness, lies, and deceit. But who killed Mr. Valentine, and why?
We think it was, what was Danny's name?
We think it's Russell.
We think, yeah, Russell attempted it, but then his mother, Penelope, Bettina, Prudence, she actually did it in the end with the insulin that we knew she had.
We knew she had it, but it could have been any of them.
As the real director, and the prize is
plastic cutlery.